this is the teaching video I've been hinting at for a couple weeks. So this is the specific verse I want to talk about today. And we're hitting on two different types of tithing, or not tithing, not two different types, but two different concepts that go into that. So one of them is generosity. That's what we're going to get into. And tomorrow is going to, or not tomorrow, whenever I post the next video, it's going to be about tithing. But this one's about generosity. And this does relate to tithing, and you'll see how. I'll try to connect the ideas. So this is from the New American Standard Bible. 2 Corinthians 8:11. Yeah, chapter 8, verses 11 through 15. Verse 11. Now finish doing it also, so that just as there was the willingness to desire it, there may be also the completion of it by your ability. For if the willingness is present, it is acceptable according to what a person has, not according to what he does not have. For this is not for the relief of others and for your hardship, but by the way of equality. At this present time, your abundance will serve as assistance for their need, so that their abundance may also serve as assistance for your need, so that there may be equality. He uses that word again, equality. And I'll talk about what that means. As it is written, the one who had gathered much did not have too much, and the one who gathered little did not have too little. And Paul is talking to the Corinthian church, and he's praising them for being generous givers. So let me see. Yeah, I'll just have this open. So the Corinthian church, you might have heard that term before, Corinthian. Well, it comes from, it was the church located in the city of Corinth, which is in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, Assassin's Creed Odyssey took place in around 430 BC, but this took place around, I think, 3040 AD. So this is after Jesus had died. So this took place after that. And this is Paul writing to the church in Corinth, Corinthia, in the city. So he says very specifically, so that just as there was the willingness to desire it. Now he's talking about the church being good givers. They were giving, but they had the willingness to desire giving. And I want to ask you something. Do you feel like you have the willingness to desire to give? And this is a heavy question because some people don't. Some people don't. Some people don't want to give, and they don't have the willingness to desire it. So people are not willing to desire giving. The willingness, just let that I'm gonna just pause for a second. Think about that. The willingness to desire giving. That's profound. And it honestly just stuck out to me a second ago. Like, not as I was reading this, but beforehand when I was trying to clear off space on my phone. You have to have the willingness to desire giving in order to give. If you don't have that, then, you're just not going to give. The willingness to desire it. I keep repeating that. So that there may be also completion of it by your ability. He's saying, and carry it through. Yeah, so willingness to desire giving, and you will complete it. For if the willingness is present, it is acceptable according to what a person has, not what he does not have. Now, notice Paul is so eloquent in what he says. He makes it pretty specific. Give according to what a person has, not according to what he does not have. What he's saying is, if you have $100, don't give $100. Like, you don't have that. Give what you have. Give, if you have $10, give 10. If you have 20, give 20. Give what you have. But he also talks about the willingness to give. Let's call it a cheerful giving. You have the willingness, the desire to give. It's cheerful because you willingly doing it. And Paul's talking about be cheerful when you give. Don't be like, oh, well, I got to give you this because you drained me of all I got. For this is not for the relief of others and for your hardship, but by the way of equality. So what he's saying is, this isn't so Jimbo can have relief and you can sit here and suffer. That's not what he's saying. He's not saying, oh, give all your money to Jimbo so that you can sit here and just suffer and you can't buy dinner tomorrow. That's not what he's saying. He's saying give as a relief by way of equality, by way of making things equal. Jimbo doesn't have money. Well, let's give him a little bit to help him out. But also I need to eat too. Does that make any sense? That's kind of what he's saying here. But do it generously. Do it willfully. Do it like the willingness to desire. Like, wow, I get to give to Jimbo. You know what I mean? I get to give to Jimbo. I don't know why I keep thinking about that. I get to give to Jimbo. I get to, buy him a pizza. I get to do that. Like, we should be happy for that. You know what I mean? People should be happy. And at this present time, your abundance will serve as assistance for their need. So yeah, what the abundance of money that you have, let's just say you do, he's speaking directly to people who have that abundance of money. You help their need, right? And so this is people like, say you need food, like you're hungry, you need it, you don't have money for it. Let's get someone who's abundant in money to buy you something, to get you something. That's what he's talking about, by way of equality, so that you can eat. And I will go as far as to say, give more, so that their abundance may serve as assistance for your needs. So basically just flip it around. What if you were in need and they had abundance? So that there may be equality. And so really, Paul is saying, be generous in what you have. Be generous and have a good, cheerful heart when you do things. And he's talking to a church that had that desire to do it. And so imagine he's talking to people. He's like, guys, like, do it and complete it. And he basically praising those people. There was a story. There's the Bible verse for the story I'm about to say. It was a woman, poor woman. I don't remember if she was a widow or not, but she came up to the temple with 2 small coins in her hand, and she puts the coins down, and Jesus is amazed. He's like, wow. Because she put down 2 small coins. When the rich man went up to Jesus, say, hey, how can I followed all the commands. What do I do? Jesus is like, give away all your possessions. The man left dejected. I messed it up. There it is right there. There's the other verse. So these are 2 different people. Rich guy, other lady who had 2 coins. She was able to, when Jesus said that was all she had, she willingly gave all she had, which was 2 coins. Come on, people. She gave 2 coins, which is all she had. And then you have the rich guy who can't even part with a single coin. He can't part with the denarius. But this poor lady gave 2 small coins, which the Bible said was all she had. She did it out of a cheerful heart. She didn't get up, turn to Jesus and complain. She gave it out of a cheerful heart, all that she had. 2 small coins. Imagine you had 2 dimes and it was all you had and you gave anyway, versus a guy who has $1 million who can't part with a single coin. Imagine that. Jesus is talking about, it's not the rich people that's the problem. It's the unwillingness to give, because you can have $1 million. And what if that person with $1 million helped to lift up that woman who gave the 2 small coins? Now they're both equal. Now that she has like meals and she can eat. That's what Jesus is talking about, the willingness to desire giving. And it hints at, well, that's what Paul's talking about, but it hints at something bigger, which is this: money was not made for us. It was made for others. And that's and I'm thinking that's what the Bible's talking about, because even when Jesus is like, hey, go get this bread and this fish, give it to me, and he distributes it amongst the crowd. He feeds the 1,000, or I can't remember the specific number, but he feeds them, right? He didn't sit there and complain. He did it. He multiplied. When it hit his hands, he was multiplying it like that. And everyone was eating the food. Jesus desired it. He was like, yo, these people came a long way to eat. And I think specifically, if they came a long way to walk with him and to let him preach to them, and Jesus was like, if I send them along their way now, they'll die, they'll pass out. They've come a long way. So he feeds all of them. But anyway, that's the principle behind giving. Hello. So I was looking back over the video, and I realized that I missed a couple things. Well, maybe not I missed, but I needed to re-explain something. And I think I didn't touch the point home that you don't have to give. Like, the Bible doesn't say that you need to give, right? The Bible is not saying, oh, you need to give. No, it's saying, if you give, let it be from a good place. Let it be from a good, cheerful heart. That's what it's saying. It's saying that it's almost like it's saying it's better to give from a good place than it is to give from a bad place. And I think kind of the idea behind this is, if you give from a bad place, it makes it worthless. So give from a good place. It's a concern with the inner purity. So, but it doesn't tell you to give. It says, if you do it with the desire to, the willingness to desire to give. And remember, it's not the willingness to give, because if it was the willingness to give, you can have the willingness to give begrudgingly, but it's talking about the desire to do it. Philanthropy, I have a desire to give. So the willingness to desire that. And so that I don't know if I touched on that, but that's important. Like, you have to have the willingness to desire it if you want to give the right way, I guess. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, and the problem with the rich young ruler is he could not let go of his possessions and follow God. So when Jesus said, follow the commandments, I guess he wasn't following them because he could not put God before his possessions. And so the problem wasn't that he was rich, because the Bible gives riches. It gives the riches to Solomon. The problem is that he could not put the riches behind God. He could not put God first. That was his problem. And therefore he couldn't put people first by proxy, because he was going to give people Jesus said, sell your possessions, get rid of them, give it to the poor. I think that's what it said, but he couldn't even do that. You know what I mean? And so money took that place in his life. And the Bible said he walked away. He was grieving when he walked away, because he didn't want to. He didn't want to give all that up. He valued his possessions, which is why he grieved. Think about that. He had so much stuff, and the Bible says he had many possessions. So he was like, it said it right after he walked away. He left away grieving, for he had many possessions. He had a lot, and he didn't want to let it go. So basically, 2 points: desire to give the right way, willingness to desire to give the right way. And if you give it the right way, and put God first, the Bible would say. So put him first before the money, and then you'd be okay.